last thing to sort out. That's better. Right, hopefully you can see me in a moment. Get going. Here we are. Okay, all sorted. Wait for the bongs to finish. There's a few things I've noticed here. One is I've started to lose my balance of light and dark. So that one's sorting out. Oh, there we are. Oh, hi Mark. Yeah, shadows around the nose here, the separation of light and dark, and obviously a lot more light to come into this side of the face. Especially around here. So I'm going to get working on that, but I'm going to want a better white. And this is a personal favourite of mine. Some old Winsor and Newton stuff. Naughty. And another bit of Michael Harding's titanium white and safflower oil to it's a very strong white, very powerful white. Sometimes too much, so I've got two whites here to do two different jobs. Let's not put that on the floor actually. Okay, I'm going to take half of this and mix a little bit of oil into it. I've got linseed here, but I'm just going to, just for the sake of doing this right, use safflower oil instead. Which yellow is less. It's slightly thinner as well, a bit runnier. Nice gloopy white. A few different consistencies here. Scrape and slide. It's going to take a bit of that and mix it up with what's left. Just to make that a little bit gooier. Only a little bit, doesn't have to be by much. But the camera stands getting in the way. Okay, that's good. Okay, now I'm going to revisit that naphthol red. While I've got this, actually, I'm going to make a light colour. I'm going to take a little bit of that yellow lake. Just going to mix it up here. A little bit of that white there. That's my warm glow right there. It's picking up a little bit of the yellow ochre, but that's okay. Yeah, a bit of yellow ochre. What's on the knife? A bit of this. I should have a nice creamy light colour. Okay, so with some naphthol red, a little bit of that. Nice pinky colour. Not yet quite as light as that, so I'll borrow a bit of Michael Harding white. Now, most of the colours I mix should be somewhere in between these two. Various amounts of a kind of a purpley blue attached. So again, I'm going to use the naphthol red because the yellow content is going to soften the purpliness. I don't want the purple to be too strong. It's just a hint, so a bit of yellow from the previous mix getting in there too. That's all good. Let's take half of that, put some light in it. That's gone really light now. So that's such a powerful white. There's only a little dab, that one. There, put that over here. And let's make a darker red version, just for the shadows. Okay, so that's a few colours I'm going to want to be able to see. And I guess I'll just start. Cleaned brushes from yesterday. I'll start with 2, 4 and 6. Let's start with the 6. Let's do some more general marks. That's not dark enough, is it? Amazing. Right, let's put some of the heavy darks in. I can work into them with the lights afterwards. That's too much blue. So move that up. Chuck a whole red in that, already in that, and see what that does. I have to get the charger for this phone as well. It's going to go all the way across there. That's too dark. This is going to be fun today. Somewhere in between the two then. Let's put it here. Let's see where that goes. That's too purpley to go in there. Or is it? No, I think that's all right. Just a little flick. here. Alright, quite a few purples. Dash them around the place. In there. That's a good place for it. It is actually quite a good place for it. Already done it in there. Under here. See, that purple's way too strong. So I need a browner version. Let's borrow a little bit of that pink light to put in there. Shape under the glasses. Definitely all the way under there. Okay. Yeah, this is where this darkening certain areas up, but not ruining the colour, I hope. Okay, there's an oranger version. So let's take some of that yellow, bit of that red. This is still a shadow colour. It's got too light now. Mad. Absolutely mad. That's the brown one. Just lighten that a bit. Right, there's a shadow colour there, but I think that's the same as I had it before. Yeah, right in there, same here. All of this needs to get lighter. I'm going to look for this bright pinky colour and see where I can get it. Yeah, I can get some there. Oh, that's better. Yes, we need some of it in here. Simple marks. Needs to yellow up a bit here. Let's pop a bit there. And there. Okay. Even paler, even pinker. Yeah, lightening up this whole area up here. And there too. can work into all this afterwards. That's going to have to get yellow like that. Pink can come further over. Ah, yes. And let's go over to that light yellowy colour and let's see where we can find that. We'll find a bit in there. That's too much. We'll find a bit in here. In here. And in here. If we go into the darker pink again, it's going to be more like a shadow colour here. Yeah. Into the yellow one. Back into the pink one. I've gone too far here. No, I think that's going to be okay. I can soften that later on. Now, so we get to really pull the colour up here. And I like these little individual slabs of paint, I think they do a job. It's also now throwing this back into the kind of shadow that I need it to be in. So now, when I come to do a sort of a light area, I can bring it up a bit just as it's showing through. The light on the nose, and the forehead up there. And slightly paint just on this cheek here. Show it under the eye. Okay, let's go into that dark one more time. Bring it into here. Into here. Some light across here. Okay, it's coming to life. It's coming to life a little bit. I'll make a slightly yellower version of that. That's going to lift up that cheek. need to slim this face down a little bit. A bit of a pink just going across here. Okay, is that enough? Is that enough for that? That's that yellowy one. Turns out this didn't take very much, did it? Right. Let me go back to this purpley colour. Let's drag that shape in a bit. Some deep reddy orange under there. It's coming out purpley, but it's definitely close to what I want. No. No. Ah, what have I got on here? Oh, that's the highlight colour. Well, that's perfect for this. That created that separation. It's still not soft enough around here. When I've got this on the brush, I can soften that up, warm it up a bit. Okay, I'll try to avoid doing lines as much as I can. That whole area there. There's a nice pink blob which will just finish off the nose if I get it right. Did I get it right? Not enough paint. Closer, definitely closer. Nope, that's the right place for that. Goes higher up. There. Okay, I'm definitely going to have a bit of a job moving paint around in this area. Let's go back to my peachy yellow colour. Let's see if that works here. Yeah. Now there's something in between. It's not quite that dark. But it's darker than that. That wasn't right. Let's go back to this. Stick some of the red there. Now I'm working into wet paint on the surface. That's not right. Let's borrow some of this yellow. Bring that in, see if we can use it to lighten this patch just on the inside whilst keeping it a shadow. Is that working? Quite. No, I'm not happy with that at all. What have I done wrong? It needs to be darker. Still needs to be darker. parts going in the wrong direction. Now, okay, deep shadow. Go in the blue. Let's put a bit of red in there as well. Okay. Now, okay, back into a slightly softer one. There's a triangle just here. That's what makes it work. Simple little rosy red colour. Okay, now I've got to take the chance to take a step back, have a look at how this works. Same with the shadows here. That's lower down. That's what it is. Okay. Not quite, not quite, not quite. So close. There is a time for a small brush, and that time is now. Let's go back to that shape of the nose. I don't normally go along the line of the nose if I can help it. No, that needs to be darker, there's no way around it. I'm going to make a green version over here. Because that's what I'm seeing. And that will effectively thin down the other side of the nose, good. Sign the moustache. Back into that deep shadow again. And just drop down the corner of it there. Some of these more pinker marks, bring them out a bit. Oh, this needs softening. Same up there. That's actually okay there. I'll leave that. Now we've got some greens in here. Let's bring them in underneath the eyes. I think that gaze out from the mask is perhaps the most important part of the painting. A little bit of that yellow there, just so I can get away with that. Yes. Well, I was going to do this. That crease of the eye. Okay. And that whole light shape down there and under here. And up here as well. Okay, now we're talking, now we're finding it. This needs to sit up on the surface. And down here too. And then we get to the bright highlights, which I feel I can put on now. That's really going to sit up a bit more now. That shine on the head. Where else can I borrow it? In the nose. Yes. Definitely around the eyes. In the ear there. No, that's pretty good. I don't want to, oh, it's a little bit at the top of the ear there. I don't want to ruin it. Let's get another brush, another 4 I think. And let's soften down some of these pinks in the ear. No, not dark enough. Dark, let's keep it quite red. Okay. There we go. There's extra reds in here. It can move down. And this crease is just at the bottom of the cheek there. Okay. I was putting full on red in that crease of the nose. Yeah, it works. Put a bit in there as well. I was talking about the reds yesterday and how all the reds that live around here, yeah, the shadow and the glasses are kind of hidden in these faces, but around the eyes definitely needs a bit of warmth. Oh no, hang on. Oh, that's all going to get covered up with the shine anyhow. Okay. While I've got those colours going on, still not quite right for the ear, is it? Just get a bit more light on the front of the ear. I'll do it. Okay, now I'm fiddling. Stop fiddling. Okay, so the glasses are going to go in, and that is going to sort that out. I like that bit of yellow, and I'm leaving it. Now, while I've got this on the brush, I'm going to go in. I'm going to make some of those arm colours. And this is a warm hug. Put a bit of oil in that, make it spreadable, workable. There's a bit more red to go in that elbow, but this will do for the moment. This brown, let's be flattering the tricep. As I may have mentioned before, the friend who asked for this, I said to him, is he a vain man? He said, yeah. So that was probably a bit mean. But I think all he means by that is he probably takes care of his appearance. Well, that's not entirely a bad thing. Perhaps more of us ought to try and do that. I think there should be rules against when people are allowed to go to the gym and stuff like that. I mean, keep yourself healthy, look after yourself, all that by all means, but if you're making the rest of us look bad, some kind of mitigating action should be taken. You know, okay, yes, you can work out until you're all muscly, but then you have to wear a woolly jumper. So that's the rules. Okay. So I'm using some of this. Ooh, too blue. No, I think that's going to be alright. That blue shadow there. Sort of a bit of it in here, but I'll go back to the brown. It's going to make this greeny colour, but that will work for the underneath of the arm. And then we'll introduce the reds afterwards. Go in there, in there. That's good. We'll bring the lights in afterwards. We'll bring the reds in next and then the lights in at the end, and that should make everything behave itself, he says. Yeah. Okay, reds. I've got this very dark red here, and I'm going to use it in that shadow at the bottom of the elbow. It doesn't look that red at the moment, but it will. Let's try a bit here. Oh, it's a bit darker. Yeah, I'll do it. Okay. I've got these deep reds on that shadow of the hand there. The lights are going to go over the top. I don't want it to be too, I don't want really heavy darks there, because it's going to distract from this. Most important thing is the feeling of that hug, like it's wrapped around. Okay. That will do for that. Am I going to have to do some actual proper mixing here? I think so. I've got some of this loose white here. A little bit of yellow ochre. Bit of naphtol red. That might be too much white there. It might be just right, I don't know. Let's see. You know what, we're going to make this warm one here for the shadows. So it'll still act like a light. I'm not going to overdo it. Okay, where else can this go? Actually, sort of all of that. Yeah, make a nice border light to sit on top of. Okay. What about this? There, see, it sort of softens the edges. Maybe I should have done this after I'd done the overalls. But I guess I can always do more to it. So for the time being, let's get the basic shapes in. Let's lift that up. That light around the edge there. Where else does this go? Yeah, that nice greeny colour there. There's a sort of a pinky light that's going to be coming in. Yeah, let's make a pinker one just next to it. Let's get some really light here. Let's see where we can put that. There. A bit in there. Make it in a little. I've made a pig's ear of that. There you go. Were we really expecting any different? Okay, that can mix in on the surface a bit. Bit lighter on there. Okay, that's red, 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 red. Extra double red. Just that elbow. That's a red elbow, isn't there? Yeah, let's bring some of that in. No, to move. Okay. Pop a bit in there. So now that tonal jump is far too large now. I'll go back to my purple colour and bring it up a little bit. There you are. There we go. So I've got those arms in now. Nice big hug. Okay, I'm going to bring up the blues of the scrubs too. That's going to be quite important. But this is where the paintwork really has to get looser. So now I have to wonder whether to... Oh. Yeah, I've got a few others in, so I got carried away there. So my phone. I have to go and get the chargers and everything in a minute. Okay, so I've really seen that light lift up now. Restored the feeling of the light in the room. Yeah, and there's also this kind of, I don't know, there's nothing more horrendous than seeing your reflection under fluorescent light. And hospitals are full of fluorescent light, and then they're full of people working really, really hard as well. And that combination, I think, is probably the most unflattering thing. But I don't think it's a bad thing to capture a bit of that. I mean, that's kind of what I want, the fact that people are smiling through this effort. I've made the glasses too straight there. That angle's going to need to come up, but that's okay. That should be quite easy to do. What else? I'm going to do one little bit to that hand before I go and get my chargers and look at the next thing. Bluer, purpler. Lighter. That's too bright. So brought the purple back now, bring that in there. Definitely underneath that finger. Okay, yes, again, I don't want to fiddle with this too much. Don't want to get too caught up in that. I think I can get a bit in there. That was naughty. Ooh. Okay, what about in here? Okay, yeah, so we can make some of these shadows a bit more purple. I'll carry that. Purple. So the glaze I put on yesterday will stretch the tonal range. It made everything darker, which gave me this extra room for running the light out. Now I want that background to be broken up. I know the temptation of this is to make a pretty picture and to do something people will be happy with, but ultimately I sometimes find if you might do a painting and initially people don't like it because it doesn't fit in with what they're expecting, or I mean, what I hear quite often is, why aren't they smiling? I wouldn't want to be too dismissive of that reaction, because I think it's a natural one. I totally understand it, but it's also not the way to make something long lasting. That what we really want to see is a picture that means something, that has a sort of a life of its own, and part of that means that it's not necessarily something you always like. Moving the side of his head there. His hair's got a bit of out of control over here, so I'm going to be generous and bring that back in. Scrub in some darks there. Not too dark. Let's make some sympathy darks over here. It's already there. Yeah. I'll sort of go halfway here. Some browns and things that will mix into it. Simple marks. I don't want to get too carried away with trying to make this look absolutely right. Now I can bring some lights into that. I think there's still enough oil in there to keep it loose. Okay, now there's the shine, and I'm going to bring a little bit of green into that. That's been the secret weapon so far. That's what's going to give it the sense of reflecting, because that's the light in the room. A bit too coiffured, but the background will jut into it, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. In sympathy, I'm going to put some of these shapes in this mask, in this green colour. Top there, so the shape here. Oh yes, it's a bit bluer underneath. Top. Okay, darken all of that down. Some of these little reflections and things. Yeah, that's about there. Put some of that sympathy blue into the hair as well. Okay, and I'm going to use that for the glasses too. So I'm going to change that angle. The glasses. I have to concentrate on the eyes when I'm doing it. Okay. Yeah, also got some highlights on for those. That should really work. Got some of these blues in here as well. I'm fiddling. Stop fiddling. Great. Okay. Starting to be a bit happy with this. Right, I'm going to clean these brushes. I'm actually going to move up to bigger brushes now. I'm zoomed in, I'm zooming out again. I don't know if that hair looks too stylised. Hopefully it'll be forgiven at the end. You know what, that extra spare bit of hair, that's a part of it. It's got to go in. A little bit of craziness. Everyone's a little bit shattered. I don't know, I need some background in before I do that. Okay. Well, it's nice to have some company. Okay, last things I'm going to need to do are this mask. I'm just going to bring up a few lights around this inner area. The rest of it, I'm going to mix up some paint. I'm going to make something which might be a bit messy, might be ugly by some people's standards, but it's going to be kind of how I feel about the environment, I suppose, and I imagine it must feel for them being in that sort of space doing the work they're doing. Could even bring up a few more lights on the forehead. That might come later, but for now, I feel like I've made a start. Okay, so I'm going to bring you in a bit closer so you can have a look at that. Let's have a look at the settings. Yes, it all looks too yellow at the moment. There we are. That's a bit bleached out, isn't it? So it's somewhere in between the two. Probably about there. Maybe that's better. Right, might put the kettle on while I get my charger. Hey. That's an hour, perfect timing. So for anyone who's along who hasn't witnessed one of these live streams before. The whole idea of them is that they're what would you call it? Almost precisely the opposite of entertainment. I first thought of doing this about 6 months ago, I guess now. So I've just been putting the cameras on every week. I haven't been advertising it, and I haven't been really telling anyone or pretending it was good in any way. The whole idea was that it was a way of sort of, what's the word? Joining in the internal freedom that comes with painting, that you're absorbed by it and nothing else gets a look in. And I think there's a power to that, which I wanted to try and encapsulate in a video form. And it's entirely the opposite of when people keep you entertained. There's a concept in radio called dead air, which is if things go quiet. And if things go quiet for something like 5 seconds, people start to turn over their sets. They think something's gone wrong. So you have to have this constant jabber, which I would suggest I am capable of, but it's that's not what this is about. This is sort of exactly the opposite of that. So nothing happens for ages, and then the accumulation of all the nothings happening makes a thing, and I think that's rather wonderful. And a few people seem to agree with me, so it's very nice to have you along. Kettle's boiled. I'm comfortable with this balance of colours and shapes making this image. I feel like it's doing it. I'm going to make myself a cup of tea. I'm going to come back down. I really want to fiddle with the nose, but actually I think I'm going to leave it alone. I think it does enough. There's a feeling of the head turning. The nose seems to be starting to sort of lead the face around. I quite enjoy doing that. I quite enjoy these little distortions. Yeah. So I'll give it 5 minutes. Let's see if I can fix the lighting on this as well. Turn the gain up. Not do anything? No, I don't think so. Like expect. Yeah. Yes, that's a bit brighter. Back again. Anyone still here? Oh yes. Super. Do it. Hey, thank you, Jason. I'll say it's really lovely to have people along. Right. Oh yeah, my chair back. Okay, I'm feeling quite positive about this. Last night I was having a bit of a struggle with it, but that's the nature of these things. As I think I mentioned at the time, paintings do go through ugly phases. That's part of the nature of them. A couple of little brush moments. That wants to soften up there. Okay. No, that's enough of that. So I'm going to do a few big things. One is these lights on these on the scrubs and on the gown. So I'm going to do the gown first because I've got the colours, the skin colours to go over the top of it if necessary. So let's mix up some usable blue at the beginning. You see that? Yeah, good. That's got that light in it as well. So this is just a blue which I'm going to use as a mixing blue. So every time I put anything from the actual ultramarine in, it goes horribly. It's a really strong colour. So there's a bit of that yellow. It's way more than necessary. Let's put that aside as a green. Okay, let's mix this in. So it's very hard to tell on the palette whether you've got the right colour. Too green. Or is it? Yes it is. Or is it? No. I'll make that bluer. And that can be the shadow one, and I'll mix a lighter one. I'll put a little dab of oil in that as well. Just to make it flow a bit better. And since this is the top layer, I'll forgive myself that. And that way when I add white to it, this paint will be slightly denser. That's it. That's definitely it. Good. So I can always mix more of that if I need. Now with a bigger brush, go with an 8. No, is that an 8 or a 10? That's an 8. Okay, some of these shadow colours which are going to go in there, and I'm going to keep them really simple. I don't have to make them quickly, I just have to make them simply. So that's there, that's a bit of that. Over here, yeah, bottom up, simple marks. Some in there. It's like a collar, isn't it? It's got a light edge on it. Yeah, the textures of the paint underneath are starting to contribute a bit, which I quite like. So we've got a few of those shapes there. I've got this shadow. Again, so all these movements are going in towards this squeeze here. So like that. Well, that well. Dashes. And there. And here. Okay, let's go into that light now. This is going to be sort of proper impasto. So again, they need to be simple marks. Don't want to get too carried away. Let the texture of the canvas and the paint marks underneath kind of carry it to a certain extent. Making some harder edges. That has a direction to it there. That does that. A bit of a highlight shape here. A bit of a hard edge on that. Light shape here. That'll do for that. And I've got a greyer version, which will be, I don't know, how will I grey that off? Well, it's blue, so I guess it'll be orange. Let's put some menthol red in it. Yeah. It's gone a little bit less, so let's add a little bit of green to it as well. Okay, that's a good shadow colour for that. And the highlight colour is much whiter and yellower. So I'll put that to one side. Who knows when I might need it again. Take some of that yellow bit, add a whole chunk of white into that. Let's see what I can do. I'll use what's on the brush here to lighten that up. It's too purple. Or is it? No, that's okay for that shadow then. The light of the apron will come across. Similarly here, soft mark. And here there's some areas of light, but not too much. It's mostly that shadow of the arm there. Leaning in. Let's go into that light. I'm going to clean the brush first. Why am I? Hang on. In the middle of that, it's all the edges of that are the shiny highlight. this blue very quickly. Okay, yeah, that's better. There's that collar. Little bits of light in the shadow area. Okay. Clean that brush. That there, proper light. This is that shape up there. The way this apron crumples is going to be sort of a big part of how the image appears. So again, it's all kind of wrapping around this hug shape. Yeah. Okay, I think that gets that in. If I go back to the shadow colour here, what do I do for these? No, they're darker and pinker. I wonder if I can do it with this. That's a bit more like it. It's a bit lighter towards the ends. Let's make a darker version. Slightly greyer. Just pop it in here. Let's put some of these in there. That's that shine of the plastic, that works well. Pop a little bit in there while I'm going around. Okay, and so all this equipment stuff is also, I want it all to be a little bit abstract. Got some more greens to put in my blue here. And I'll borrow some of those for the hat as well. Ah. So the way this brush is breaking up is it's giving me some stripes. Good, so I'll get that in there, and there, and then a much lighter, brighter version. It's out here at the end. You know what, this is also going to be okay for the top of the hat as well. There is this one as well. It's softer in here. It's not. That'll do. Don't fiddle, don't ruin it. So I'm going for a slightly different language when it comes to the yeah, what would you call it? Equipment and things. PPE, but also machines and stuff. That's enough of that. Stop fiddling, put the brush down. Okay, the scrubs should be a bit simpler. Again, I'm using ultramarine, that'll be fine. I'll pop it in here. So there's areas of fairly strong colour. I'm going to add green to it because ultramarine is not the colour of the scrubs, it's a green colour. I think that's approaching it. I'm mixing what I'd call the local colour. Yes, I would say this has been a more difficult portrait to do. Partly that's to do with the approach, about what I'm demanding from myself, what I want for it. Sometimes you can approach a picture and you can just say, well, I wonder what happens if I do this, and with that attitude, you know, you can find something interesting. You can go, oh, perfect, and it turns out this happens, and it's quite enjoyable. This, I had a much better idea of where I wanted, and that made it a lot more difficult. That's still not green enough. Oh, is that too much green? Let's find out. Feels like too much green. But yeah, I hope it's been interesting to watch, because it's, you know, this is sort of 3 sessions worth now, this one. But it's still, I mean, it's 6 hours, it's still not a long time for a portrait, really. You know, I don't think this brush is behaving itself very well, but here's some other stronger colour. Actually, it's hard to tell at the moment because extra dark underneath. No, this brush is not behaving itself at all. Let's give it some oily. The bristles are a bit stuck together at the edges. No, it's still, yeah, still not behaving that well. It's not making a perfect crisp mark, but that isn't always exactly what I want, anyway. Let's get some colour out of there. Yeah, no, it's not playing at all. I'll have to get a treatment sometime. This one, however, is behaving beautifully. That's much better. Okay, so this will carry some of those stronger colours a little bit in there. That's too much. think I might put that little gloved hand on the outside there. Okay, anyway, I've got that dark gap, and now I'm going to make a lighter version. I'm just going to use what I've got. Still going to be nowhere near as light as what's going on in here. And the green. It's much easier to judge the colour when it's lighter, a hue as it were. So sometimes I do a little practice mix just to land the hue before I do a darker one, because I get a feeling for how much of each contributing colour is in there. Okay, what's this doing? Let's try a bit up there. Oh yeah, that's good. Again, I want to keep these marks simple. I don't want to go over the top of making too complicated. And yeah, that does bump into that area. Where else is this? Along the top of the arm. Somewhere between the two on the top of the arm there. I'll put this colour here. Here. That shape, that winds around a little bit more that time. And around there. These highlight shapes, which are actually going to get a bit brighter, but and something between the two of them in this patch at the back. I hope that's kind of made the scrubs come to life a bit. Let's mix a bit more of that. See where else it goes. A bit greener in places. Now let's make a darker version. So there's sort of a bridge between the two. That's not too much. that simple. And then we'll just do a lighter version of that colour. A bit of that highlight colour there. There's definitely a bit on there. I'm sort of redoing these. I can actually see some of the old brush marks showing through from before. Some of these sort of highlight colours. Sort of triangle up there. Is that too rough? Difficult to judge. No, I think that's alright. Do a slightly smaller brush now. Some of that darker colour in, pop a bit of that in there. Some of the darks. Don't be afraid of those. Okay, well we've got that. Put this seam in. Keep that rough. Okay, let's get this mask in. Oh, and then we'll finish with the background. And it starts off. I start off with a medium dark actually. I'm not going to go a whole hog. Start off with some of these shapes, too medium. A little bit darker, just a little bit. Bit more of a slope up the nose, that goes higher up the nose there. Oh, I can't imagine what it must be like to try and work in that. Maybe the next one of these I do, I'll wear a surgical mask and make a bin bag. Some kind of weird comical solidarity. Okay, simple shapes. There's a bit more. do some of the dark reds now. Again, it's more like a ground than a finished bit of painting. Ah, new tissue time. Managed to cover myself in paint. Hey, where is it? Ah, you're all the way over there. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah, reds. These dirty reds in here. The sparkly reds will turn up in a bit. And they're going to be proper solid bits of paint. I'll go across to that greeny colour over here. Okay, and it's in here as well. A weird sort of peachy light colour. Which is all around here. Yeah. And then yeah, this sort of purpley light colour. And then a greeny light colour. Does. Bit green. A bit of green down there. And there. Okay. There's a band of light that goes all the way across the whole thing. And I might try and do that with a glaze. Again, I think it's going to be a relation of that greeny colour over here. I'm going to put a whole load of oil down. Get it a bit paler. I'll try it here first. Do it. Not too much. Okay, we have a shine. Drop the light edge around there. The light edge all along the top of this. A few bright highlights to go on there, yeah. There's a bit of light. There's a bit of light. Okay, now we're here. I can go back to here again. It's the mechanicalness of all this stuff that that's what's slightly scary about it as well. So changing language here, but that's okay. Let's go back into that dark. Let's put an angle in there. All of this is going in dark. There's the really dark bit here. There's that hard edge at the bottom, that sense of being encased. It's going to be quite important. Okay, change to the drawing now. About this side. Yeah, same thing there. Okay, blob of black. Make sense of that and that. And that. And then I had that shadowy colour. Over here somewhere. Make that blue up. Yeah. So right over here, there's much lighter over that side. Okay, let's bring some of these reds out now. A bit of oil maybe. It's probably too much. Let's see if that helps. It's just pure red going on here. There's a lighter one to come afterwards, but to begin with. Actual slab of red. Right, it's a piece of red paint and it's going on there and it's staying there. Good. Right. Let's take some of that yellowy white. Pop a bit along the top. A bit down the side there. A couple of dabs. And that, I do believe, I'll do it. The last thing I'm going to need is the very white. I've got this and a slightly pinky one. And that's going to give me my shade, my hue. Add some white to that. No, not deep enough. This will also give me a yellow at the bottom. Okay, now this is going to become the bright white. Set this over the top. I'll do that. We'll go there. And the bright highlights. Yeah, I think that'll do it. So I need these for the glasses as well. What was that? I'm such an idiot. That's one of my bits of painting advice. Don't forget to stop and ask yourself if you're an idiot. The answer might surprise you. Okay, a bit more of a golden colour in this bit, and it's right on there. Yes, yes, that did it. Okay, I need to lighten the teeth slightly as well. This is way too much. Just near the front. It's the thing they do in magazines as well. I'm going to redo the bottom edge of that teeth, so to begin with it's going to look a bit like it's some really bad dentistry, but it's all fixable. I'm also seeing this pinky purpley colour, and I meant to move this line in before. And that highlight coming here. That should help neaten the face up a bit. Nose. Was I going to do anything about the nose? No, I don't believe I was. That's this highlight colour. The tiniest little bit, this has to be super accurate because I kept getting this wrong. There's the tiniest little glow just there. That's good. Another one just over here. Yeah, I can't keep doing any more to that. If I fiddle with it, I'll ruin it. And it's kind of working there. It's a nice shadow under the ear, which I am going to put in. Which is this nice warm colour here. That will do it. It's just that shape there. More highlights, maybe in the arms a little bit. Oh, I know the other thing I forgot to do. I'm sure you've probably spotted this earlier. There you go. Just correct the anatomy on the arm. Put a bit of a highlight on the top here. Flash of light across the hand there. At the top. And I do believe that is pretty much working. Now I do want to, I said about doing this with a different palette yesterday. I do want to do something about that background. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to see if I can pretty much match the colour I've ended up with, which was too light to begin with. Oh, that's good. And then now it's slightly too grey. Put a bit of oil in it. There's an illustrational technique where you and you see it all the time. It's kind of a gimmick, but people love a gimmick, don't they? There's a few things you'll notice when, especially people try to adopt this idea of a style, and sometimes it's really good painters who are kind of just not confident enough, and they do lovely exploratory sort of pieces of painting, and then they go, oh, but I really like what this person that I've seen does, and there's these broken edges. There's this thing of getting a square brush, and making a slab of paint that breaks the edge, and it's naff. But it happens all the time. That is not what I'm doing here. And the thing is, they paint it perfectly first, and then they put that in as an effect. But there is another approach, which is to paint things properly first, and then just kind of, well, I guess it's the same thing, it's wrecking it afterwards, but in less of a stylized way. So this poster here, just going to go around it in bits. And this is going to, these broken brush marks are going to sort of allow the viewer to kind of ignore what's going on behind. So there's that corner of the door, and that's the only bit that's important. That corner of the door is also important, that doorway. That needs to be crisp, because that's meaningful. What's going on behind it, less so. So I'm going to let brush marks be broken rather than sort of perfect clear slabs. I'm going to do a darker version. Yesterday's glaze is already dry. This is going to be slightly redder as well. I'm going to use alizarin. It's a cooler red. Maybe that will be sort of forgiving of what's up here. Now, just slimming the head there. What's out through that door? I'm going to revisit the green. A bit of artistic license here. Another harsh clinical place through the windows. Again, this poster thing. These objects down here, a few harder edges and what have you, but keep it sketchy. What was I going? Oh yeah, I was on the red, wasn't I? Is that too much? There's bits in here as well. So it's a bit like you're looking out of the mask. That's kind of how I want it to feel. And then it's going to warm up and get friendlier and cozier as we go into this area here. So I'm going to pick up the rest of that yellow. Let's come back in, a bit more white, a bit more yellow. Let's see how much we have to shift it to make it work. There we are. Oh yeah. To redefine that edge there. Oh, that's the other thing that comes up. Redefine those edges. Yeah. It's the simple things at the end really do the job, don't they? Do I need to do any more to this? No, I don't. Oh, I really want to. Stop it. I really want to. Oh, what an effort. It's that nose. That nose won't leave me alone. Oh, I hit an edge paint over something. No, the little spindles of hair, I quite like that as they are. I was talking about lightening this, I don't need to, job's done there. Oh, I just went over his collar, that was it. That's not the end of the world, I can fix that in a moment. Yeah, good. Oh, one on there actually. Yeah, that made all the difference, didn't it? Stop it. Right. There. It's not a kind picture of the environment, but I think it needs that harshness, which I know will make this probably less of a the man with the club is getting twitchy. Yes, quite. Right. I'm going to do what I need to do to that nose, because otherwise it will bug me, and the thing is to be really, really careful and gradual. And the carefulness isn't so much in the painting, it's in making sure you step back afterwards, pick exactly the colour of paint you need, make the mark, step back afterwards, evaluate it. As long as you're only one mark in, it's quite easy to undo. And it's to do with this angle here. I think if I can get that there. And then I can say, does that do the job? And yes, it does that job. There's also a deeper shadow here, and it needs that, and that can be the same colour. Does that do its job? Yes. The last thing was that line under the teeth, and that needs to slope slightly. I've got to be really careful here. You may notice I very rarely rest my hand on anything. It's quite unnatural for me to do that. But some people, when they're painting, will have a rest, maybe attached to the top like a hinge, for them to rest their hand on the whole time. Every mark is very sort of careful and controlled. I personally don't really like working like that. But there comes a time with perhaps a single mark that is of great importance that you daren't muck up. And yeah, in those times it's important to do what's necessary. Okay. Let's not paint on the end of that brush. That's unwanted. One last question, and I think it's going to have to be in a greeny blue, and maybe you'll be ahead of me on what I'm talking about here. There's one final thing that needs to go in. No, that doesn't work. Get rid of that right there. It's going to go in red instead. Yeah, because the red is the colour of the warmth and the hug, and that's that. So I want the signature to remind everyone of that nice warm hug. There we go. Phew. go. Let's have a little close-up look, shall we? There's that face behind the visor. Big filters stuck to the side of the head. I'm quite proud of how I managed to keep them as single marks. Again, it's really simple down here. Not much to it with the the clothes and what have you. Same with the scrubs. That glaze underneath allowed me to just lift up the right qualities of colour, not overdo it. So all the contrast and all the warmth is all happening in here. If we move back, there we are. There's the complete image. Yeah. Just behaving yourself a bit, sort of. Smashing. Oh. I think I can relax now, maybe even congratulate myself a bit, just for a minute. Well, thanks ever so much for coming along. I really appreciate everybody popping in, saying hello. And especially those of you who stick it out to the end. Frankly, you all deserve a medal. Oh, thank you, Sue. I'm glad you could see it. I liked what you said before about, the experience of knowing someone who works in the, in the healthcare, in the hospital, and what have you. It's I feel a little bit of your pride and worry, and more so from doing these, and I hope people seeing them will help. You know what I mean. I'm not good with words. Yeah, my tea's gone cold, so that's a good sign, but it's also kind of tragic, isn't it? A cup of tea gone cold. All that potential joy wasted. I have to make another one. Yeah, so next week I'm going to visit the cabinet of controlled light and try and do some rather more classical still lifes, I suppose. But I really want to have a look at glass and maybe a more refined surface, which doing a smaller, simpler painting allows you to do, get it to a higher finish, which I think is interesting to watch. As I mentioned yesterday, if you're not aware, it's time for me to upgrade my hardware because everything's getting outdated, and it's a bit of a hilarious mishmash of cheats and adapter cables that allows all this to work as it does, and even then it's not massively reliable. So because I'm making these videos for the drawing course and the other courses as well, then it's time for me to upgrade my hardware, and it's going to cost me quite a lot. So as a fundraiser, I thought I'd do a sealed bid auction. So I'm going to be posting pictures on Instagram and Facebook and on my website, and you can make a bid whatever you like, and there's no chance of insulting me, and it's not it's not a public thing, so you can say what you'd offer, and anything above 0 is always a compliment. So Yeah, and hopefully I can find some good homes for some pictures that have kind of gone by the wayside while I've been doing other things, and give people a chance to own one of my pictures if they've always wanted one, and my self-important prices have been way too high. Who the hell do I think I am? So yeah, if that's the case, do keep an eye out. If you spot something you like, don't be afraid to put a bid on it. You never know, you might be lucky or unlucky depending on how you look at it. Yeah, spread the word. I'll be trying to advertise it out a little bit. Oh, hi Scott. Yeah, I will. There's a long list, but it's mostly to do with computers. Yeah, so an iMac Pro is what I need to save up for. That's going to be a horrible thing. I'm not going to want to part with that money. But yes, anyway. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. And yeah, do feel free to get in touch if you've got any thoughts or suggestions of something I can paint. And thanks for not hitting me with the club. I think I've managed to control myself, stop just in time. I want to fiddle with it now. I really want to fiddle with it. I promise I won't. Sometimes I do. I kind of promise I won't. Anyway, thanks so much for coming, and I'll see you all on Monday. Yes. Catch you soon.